Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Kangaruthless, and I'm bringing you another StarCraft 2 commentary. It is going to be a Protoss versus Terran on the map Shattered Temple, and as you see here in the right position is iMakeMarine versus his Terran opponent Veritas. And actually I have a surprise for you. With me is a co-caster, DibzIsHere. So Dibz, how you doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Alright, awesome, good to hear. Now Dibz, you're actually iMakeMarine, is that correct? You're the Protoss.
This is correct. This is one of this is my only Smurf account, and yeah.
Well, awesome. And what can you tell me about Protoss versus Terran? I play Zerg, so I rarely ever get to play this matchup.
Macro-oriented versus Protoss Protoss versus Terrans are really interesting, and I think they're pretty balanced. A lot of people complain about the Ghost, but I think it can be dealt with.
Yeah, definitely EMPs, but you can get Templar to feedback those, but it's micro-intensive, yeah?
Yeah, it's very micro-intensive in the late game. But a major problem with Protoss versus Terran is the early game. I think 1-1-1 is still a little too powerful. I think it's beatable, but it's pretty easy to execute.
Even with the Warp Prism buff and the Immortal buff, I think with the Immortal plus 1 range buff, you can get that Immortal out and you can sneak him around, so when he set up his tanks, you know, kind of towards the back of the attack, you can start picking off with the Immortal a little bit easier. What would you think?
Yeah, the Immortal change definitely helps versus 1-1-1, but it's still viable to 1-1-1.
Yeah.
A lot of Terrans still do it.
It's still a very strong build, and as a Zerg, I know that Terrans love their timing pushes, and I don't think Terrans have really gotten to figure out an all-in against Zerg that they can really push unless it's like something like a 4 or 6 racks. That's what we have to deal with. It's not fun.
Yeah, a lot of the all-ins versus Zerg were a lot earlier in the game, like the 2 racks. With
the 11-11.
Yeah, lots of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But now the matchup has sort of stabilized. Whereas Protoss vs. Terran is now the exact opposite.
So you're saying that the metagame is changing for Protoss versus Terran?
Oh yeah, definitely with 1-1-1, the metagame has changed a lot. Just because even if the Terran isn't 1-1-1ing, you still have the fear of that 1-1-1, so your build has changed because of it.
Okay, so you're always living in fear of that 1-1-1, and he walls off, right? And so let's see here, yeah, Veritas does wall off here.
Yeah.
And you're pretty much going to have to expect a 1-1-1.
Oh yeah, at this point I'm definitely expecting a 1-1-1. I've checked the amount of gas in that geyser. There was 50 mined when I checked it, which is too much for a tech lab.
Yeah,
so
he's taking another gas right here actually, and he's only on 17 supply, so that's pretty early.
Yeah. I knew at this point he was going to 1-1-1. And his Marine luckily scouts my probe, which I was going to use to check for the command center around 4:30
or
so.
Yeah, and about 4:30 is actually the best time for Protosses to go and scout Terran. What you need to do is run up the ramp real quick with your probe and just see if you can see any buildings, see how many Marines, or if you can see Marauders or Tech Labs on buildings, and so on and so forth. That actually tells you a lot about what Terran is doing at the 4-minute and 30-second mark.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty crucial time to scout. If you check and there's 4 Marines, I think that means they have constant Marine production. Yeah, so
something like a 2 racks.
Or just, yeah, probably like a 2 racks, or maybe just like straight into factory. It could mean anything, or 1 racks expand with no gas, but that's not the case in this game. So.
Right, totally. Well, it looks like your Stalker here just cleared the watchtower. You will have central vision over the map, and even though he killed off your probe, could you not just poke up here with the Stalker at the 4-minute 30-second mark? Well, now it's the 5.5-minute mark. Yeah, and I see your probe, your Stalker is moving out on the map.
I was checking to see if any Marauders were coming on the edges of the watchtower.
Okay.
And they would have came by now, so I know he's doing something else. So I checked for the XO.
He can't be doing the Marauder expander or anything like that. And he might be able to pick off a Marine here, but you're losing a lot of health on your
Stalker. This is pretty bad by me. I should have pulled back earlier.
It's okay. You know, you did get 1 Marine, but you did lose a little bit of health on that Stalker. So overall, not a bad deal. But of course, he is going for the 1-1-1. We do have a Tech Lab being added on to the starport, which will land. And if he lands this factory, it will most certainly be a 1-1-1. Otherwise, it will be a start port play. But with Banshees and Marines, you can expect a 1-1-1. And a fast Stargate coming from you, Dibz. So is this how you like to deal with 1-1-1?
Definitely on smaller maps. There's 2 options, really, like the 3-gate Stargate or a really fast Nexus. Or there's some other builds that I know where there's like Immortals and Stalkers, but those are really too specific. But this, if he's not 1-1-1ing, I can just beat him with the 3-gate Stargate.
Yeah.
So
Now, if have you had a chance to read Flatline's thread about how he basically his opener, how he gets a fast expansion, and it's only really weak against mass bio builds, but beyond that, I mean, it even can counter the 111. And
yes, I have seen the thread, and I think it's a good build. I just chose not to do it because of the size of this map.
okay, now you're getting a Void Ray first. Are you doing this to do some sort of attack, I guess, on the front, because your Void Ray is rallied towards the front?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm definitely. You want to hit the Terran before he's moving out because he's probably not ready for the attack to come.
Now, I know a lot of Protosses out there, especially in higher leagues, they prefer to go what is it, Phoenixes, actually. And they like to harass the Phoenixes, keep the Terran constricted to their base, and Phoenixes are great against Banshees as well. Now, he's getting Cloak here, and I don't see a Robo, and I don't see a Forge. So how are you going to be able to deal with Cloaked Banshees?
I'm not. I'm going to, like, basically just be screwed. It's not good.
Okay, so it looks like the push is coming in here. The Marines are not yet in the bunker, but it looks like it will be focus fire down. The SCVs will not be there in time to protect that. And this harass is actually doing a lot of damage. Terran cannot get up any of these missile turrets in time, and he will have to pretty much leave all these supply depots and these barracks maybe even towards the front. They're just getting taken out by this fully charged Void Ray. So Terran not doing a great job dealing with this early push. And this is the issue with 111, is you just don't have any recourse for these sorts of pushes. But meanwhile,
he does have a Banshee in my main.
Banshee is in the main and is starting to pick away at the probes. Now, I think the easiest way, and see here you're warping in a Phoenix, but he's just building energy on that Banshee. You're going to need a Forge or a Robo or something. But it looks like all your probes are just going to run in. And why not? I mean, if he's going to all in against you...
the worst part of this game, I lose the Void Ray.
You lose the Void Ray, but you still have the Phoenix. And the Phoenix should be enough to get you back in this game. How much gas is a Phoenix? Yeah, you can't afford another one because you need to mine gas here. Now, I'm not sure how viable this is actually going to be because he has a lot of cloak on here, and you just basically have to wait for it to run out.
Yep.
But meanwhile, probes are coming in. They are taking out the rest of the barracks, and really need to focus fire these SCVs and just make sure that he cannot build anything else. He is going to be able to float away his buildings. But it would be nice if you could save these probes, send them back to the base, and start mining. Maybe throw down a forge and throw down some cannons would be a better way to bring you back in the game.
Definitely. There was a lot of things I could have done differently to maybe make this game go more in my direction. Saving the Void Ray is the biggest example I can come up with. If I had saved that, I would have been in a much better position right now.
Yeah, so right now we see the Banshees, two Cloak Banshees just chasing around these Stalkers, and since your probes are not mining, you're not going to be able to make any more units. And you're pretty much left with just a Phoenix to deal with these two Banshees. You really need to save these Stalkers. I'm not sure what they're doing hanging out at the base. They need to be running away for their dear life. But these Banshees will go down because they will run out of cloak, and meanwhile Terran will lift off his buildings. But, I mean, you have a Phoenix. So you will be able to take care of these lifted buildings, and if he doesn't kill all of your probes, you should be in pretty good shape. Let's see what he can do here. It looks like the Banshee will finally go down, and Dibs is left with 4 probes. Let's go to income tab. 7 harvesters to 0. So what can Terran do from here? It looks like he's making 1 Hellion.
Making a Hellion. Oh, this is painful.
And he's going to lift off.
I offensive GG. I'm so ashamed.
Oh my goodness. So I make Marine giving the manor GG, which is perfectly natural to do when Terran teases you. I totally feel your pain. But, I mean, he has a Hellion here, and he can pretty much just... He can out-micro everything. You're going to have to land this correctly, and you're going to have to get a surround. You do not get the surround. You need to pick up that Hellion again. If you can pick him up a second time, you need to get that surround. You need to get your probes in better positions. No, they're not in a good position. He's going to line them up and get a nice hit off on those probes. And now this Hellion will just be able to kite your units all day. It would be nice if you could get a surround with your probes. You're going to miss a surround. Now the Hellion will get away, run away with his dear life. The Phoenix is not being used to shoot down any more buildings. I think you are waiting on more energy. How much is Graviton Beam? Is it 50 energy?
It's 50.
Far, far away from that.
Yeah.
And I think all the rest of these probes are going to go down. I'm not sure what you're doing chasing with these probes. They're going to all go down. You only have 1 probe left. You need to keep that alive for as long as possible and just play defense with this Phoenix. If you can lift up this Hellion, and when you can position your Zealot underneath, you can actually get the Hellion But now it's down to 0 harvesters, and all we're left with is 1 zealot and 1 hellion. And it looks like the rest of these buildings will burn down.
Oh my gosh.
And
This
now
game
you have
is painful.
enough left for 1 graviton marine, but he is going under
Watch
the
this.
factory. It's going to be so hard for you to position your zealot underneath.
Oh, it just goes for the
Oh,
depot.
no.
It goes for the depot.
No, the zealot gets out of position, so now we're left with 1 hellion versus 1 zealot. This is not going to end well for the zealot. The hellion can just kite that zealot all day. The zealot just needs to run away and maybe wait for some more graviton. Meanwhile, this factory will be taken out. And now what we have here is pretty much a stalemate. Protoss doesn't have any more probes. He doesn't have any more gas or minerals for probes, and it's pretty much 1 Phoenix versus 1 hellion. And in this situation, I mean,
Terran wins.
Terran has to win because
like
you don't have any ground forces. You can't afford anything else, and you have nothing to kill off that hellion.
an 11 HP hellion, so I stay into bad manner.
Oh my goodness! So you're gonna stick it out for the rest of this game? That's incredible. Meanwhile, he is starting to flame down the Nexus, but you can't build anything. And I feel the same way when Terrans lift buildings against me when I'm playing Zerg, and I have to make Mutilisks to go kill them off. I just get so mad at this. But this trash talk is just...
Yeah,
I
some
love
trash
this.
talk at the end. It's basically the rest of this game. It's just us trash talking each other.
That is amazing. So that's a stalemate PVT, and I might either speed it up here or have to cut it short. I'm going to see how much is left in this game. Oh, quite a amount. So I'm going to speed it up here to ×4 and see exactly what else goes on here.
Yeah, I'll stay with you.
Hellion is just picking away at this this Nexus, and I mean, that just really sucks. You just gotta hate that, because I mean, literally, if you had made 1 more Phoenix, if you kept that Void Ray alive,
slow it down when I say lol.
We're gonna slow it back down to faster. We're gonna see if there's any sort of good BM here.
So what happened right here was the stalemate detector came up, which it basically says if no buildings are killed in 3 minutes, if no units die in 3 minutes, if nothing is made in 3 minutes, and no upgrades are researched in 3 minutes, the game will end in a stalemate.
So if it's only if he doesn't attack a building, or if he doesn't kill a building.
He's got to kill the pylons, which, you know, in 3 minutes is quite difficult.
Wow.
And because I have the Phoenix, you know, what can happen?
So
basically spoiled it.
But we're going to see here, I mean, apparently if you can graviton the Hellion with the Phoenix, I mean, that should end in a stalemate. And you already know the outcome of this game. You're the one who played this game. But I kind of want to see what you do here. I mean, I can't tell you how many times that Hellion has hit these pylons. He's got them lined up quite nicely, actually. But, I don't know. Oh, goodness. Okay, so it looks like Dibs is about ready to graviton. We're going to speed up to ×2. This is still going a bit slow, and we have a little bit of time left, but I want to get this video to it not as long as possible. You need to graviton him here before these pylons go down. So he's going to graviton him once, and a second time. And how many more gravitons do you have? You have about 1 more. And this might just do it. So he gravitons him for a 4th time, and there goes the stalemate. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You can actually end in the stalemate if you only have 1 Phoenix left against 1 Hellion. Alright, so Dibs, I gotta say that was kind of a hilarious game.
It's definitely not working as intended, because I think the way they designed the 3 minutes was that any one unit could kill any building in 3 minutes, or at least any low-tier building.
Yeah. Alright, well that'll do it for this game. Again, I've been your host as always, Kangaruthless, and with me is my co-host, Dibs is here. Thank you again so much, Dibs, for co-casting.
Thanks for having me on. It's a great time.
Yeah, no worries. And that'll do it for this cast, so be sure to rate, subscribe, comment, check out StarCraftCentral.net, and also check out the IRC channel, QuakeNet.irc, and we are at SCA. And that'll do it all for now. I will see you guys next time. Peace.